Thomas, Bill Anderson, and Kenny Parker. Brought to you by First Bank of Shelbyville. And Kincaid Service Company. Let's talk some sports. Here are your hosts, David Thomas, Bill Anderson, and Kenny Parker.
We've been there, didn't do it.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Bedford County Sports Talk Live. I'm David Thomas, Mr. Jason Boyette, Bill Anderson, and the infamous Coach Judd Dryden. Good to have you in house, Coach.
It's good to be here. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun today. We got a lot of talk, a lot of pro sports, but we got a whole lot of high school stuff to talk about too.
How's college basketball?
I know. Well, we got all day. I mean, this could go on all day.
Yeah. Good.
Are you prepared, Coach?
I am not prepared, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, before we dive in, we're going to hear from our sponsors, First Bank and
Kincaid
Service
Company, right here in Shelbyville. We'll be right back. Kincaid Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street. All righty, we're back in here to talk some sports. Bill Anderson's got a lot of scores for us, guys. Let's let Captain Bill roll with the scores.
Let's start out with the infamous one here.
Okay.
We got football spring. When does that start up for you, Coach?
First practice is the last Monday in April. And we scrimmage Columbia Central on the 16th of May. It's Friday. I'm getting some dates.
Is that a little late or not?
Well, we pushed it as far back as we can just in case we can grab a couple of guys that we share. I don't want to rush them out of their spring seasons, but we'll try to take advantage if we can, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, we're excited moving in the spring. See, new region, competition is through the roof in that region, so it's going to be a great test for us. It's going to cause us to have to be better for sure in a lot of different ways.
Well, we're going to get better. I can tell you that right now. We're going to be all right.
You think, Bill? I think so.
Season starts August 22nd at Tullahoma. And Coach, that's before you know it.
It is before we know it. So
boom, we're here.
Yeah, and I wish the schedule was a little more balanced, but we got to be on the road 6 games this year. Just by the way things rolled out, it was tough trying to find some games to fill in. So we had to make do with what we could get, and we travel all the way up to Clarksville again. We go to Hendersonville again. So it's it's just going to be one of those things that I'm sorry, I think Hendersonville's here. Yeah, Hendersonville's here, but
6 of your first 7 on the road.
They are, plus a bye week, which is kind of nice to have in there too. But being able to finish out at home, we do get Ravenwood at home, which is going to be pretty nice for us. I think some exciting things down the road I can't speak of yet, but it's we're excited for this season. It's the challenge of getting bumped up into 6A. It's here again, and we will we'll do everything we can to make some lemonade with it.
Good deal. Well, Coach, as an AD, we got a little baseball tournament around here, don't we?
A lot of baseball, a lot of softball, a lot of soccer, a lot of track, a lot of
everything's rolling
going
now.
on. It is. So it's almost hard to keep track of.
Let's dive into some scores of Shelbyville baseball. Start the week, they beat Smyrna 13-3. And then we had to play Lincoln County for 2 games. We lost 13-3 to Lincoln and 15-2, which puts us in an 0-2 hole in the region. But Lincoln County's good in baseball.
Very good.
They're really good.
Yeah.
Your Mid-South Classic up here, Heritage Christian of Alabama 2, Shelbyville 15. Yesterday, Shelbyville beat East Robertson 4-1 and beat Coach Robbie Davis last night 14-0. So Shelbyville is 9-3 right now. And I'm going to let y'all guess. Who is number 1 in the state of Tennessee in batting average in high school?
Tell us.
Take a guess, Coach.
Man, it would. I could play quarterback too.
He
probably.
could.
Yeah.
He also leads the state in on-base percentage.
Yeah,
I wonder who that would be.
He's having a heck of a year. Stephen is. So
Stephen Bobo.
What's that batting average?
It's like 800 and something. Imagine
How
that.
do you do that?
I don't know.
he was 1,000 through the first 4 games, I believe.
Wow.
That's
If I
impressive.
remember right, he started the season 12-12. If I remember right.
Unbelievable.
Maybe
You don't want him on the bases either.
No, because he's going to steal immediately.
Yeah. Don't even look. Take off.
Try throwing that guy
I
out.
know it. I know it.
Anyway, Cascade beat Moore County this week 11-6. They lost to Forest, similar to Shelbyville. Had a big Region 2 games. They lost 7-4 and 5-1 to Forest to get themselves in a bit of a hole in the region to start with. But Cascade, they've got a heck of a baseball team. But let's talk about the softball team around here. Community.
Yeah.
They're 12-1. They went down to Alabama. They beat Waterloo, Alabama 13-0. Beat Wicksburg, Alabama 7-4. And beat Boaz, Alabama 2-1. They're 12-1.
Good year for them.
And the pitching, I mean, softball, you don't see shutouts like communities throwing.
Yeah.
They throw a lot of shutouts. It's all you can do is score on them.
They got like 6 in the rotation. It's just like
Right.
stellar.
So they're doing a heck of a job. Coach Robbie Davis started the week off at community, beat Mount Pleasant 10-0. And then he got 2 wins in this tournament. He beat Carmel, Illinois 6-0. And then he beat Newton Falls, Ohio 11-3 before losing to Shelbyville 14-0. So Coach Davis is like 7-5 right now. So that got them. Webb, I didn't see any scores on Webb. I looked, didn't see any. But I didn't see any Webb scores in baseball. And softball scores are just hard to come by. Other than community who posts theirs, it's hard to find them.
Yeah.
And I know Shelbyville's had a tough run here early in baseball, and Cascade too. But finding those softball scores, if anybody's got them, give them to us. We'd love to put them up.
Yeah. All right. Anything out at Central going on? You mentioned track. How's track going?
He's building that program. It gets tough. Excuse me. It gets tough with sharing. I mean, pretty much every sprinter he has is a football, basketball, something else as well. But his numbers are up to about, I think his roster's right at 50, 55.
Wow.
We have, depending on what comes back at us from the school board, we've asked for another supplement for him. He's doing that by himself with a couple of volunteers. So we've, so we're trying to, get him help there. That could turn into, with all the facility development going on and improvement stuff, we're hoping that we can turn that track program into something that rivals soccer and baseball as far as its success and the kids that are coming out and all that. It's so different. Track is so different. Of course, I coached it for 25 years, give or take, as a sprint and jumps coach. And the beautiful thing about track is it's all individual. So you are who you are and how you train. And that's, your improvement is on you. It's not about everybody else. It's all you. So it makes it fun to coach, because you can see who wants to be there, who doesn't.
Yeah.
And so you get to pour into kids that you wouldn't normally get to pour into sometimes. So it's fun, but he's doing a great job there. Soccer is playing well right now. They're fast on the field. They have really taken to the new strength conditioning coach we've got, the speed stuff. You can see how explosive they are, which has done nothing but elevate their skill level. They play fast, they play hard, and Chris has done a great job there. Softball is improving. It doesn't. It's hard to see that on the outside right now because all that improvement starts in the core, and until it blooms more, it's going to be hard to see. But they're very young. They're almost all freshmen, sophomores, with a few move-ins that came to us at the semester. So it's been good. It's been fun to watch them develop as well. Slowly, surely, they're in the weight room. They're doing those things that athletes do. They're in their off season. They're doing, culturally, they're getting better. So we're very excited and hopeful on what's happening there. Slowly but surely, it takes a while to ride a ship. As we found out in football a few years back, it's tough sometimes. Baseball has, they hit a buzzsaw with Lincoln County, but other than that, they're playing well. They had a kind of a down game against Central Magnet a week or so ago in that tournament, but things have. Coach Jones is doing a great job with them. So they're, everything within our athletic department from the first cross country race in the fall all the way through football and volleyball and both basketball programs are improving. Wrestling programs, everything is on an upward trajectory now. And now it's just making sure it stays that direction. So, which with the facility improvements and everything else that's going on, and some things behind the scenes that are happening, within the school itself, I think we're poised to make a big breakthrough as a whole athletic department.
Coach baseball all day long today in this tournament, right? I mean, there's teams playing from noon till end of the night.
Yeah, we JV plays today at, I think he said 2, and the varsity plays again at 6 tonight.
Play Sequatchie County tonight. Who wants to get at 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Of course, I think things, what I was told, are running late because games run late, so it may be a little later than 6 before they actually go, but they're scheduled to go at 6 against Sequatchie County, the varsity is.
Man, I love baseball, but I sure wish they'd go to 4 quarters.
4 quarters.
So, I mean, it would,
right?
Man, it's I don't know. I love it, but boy, it gets long. I can't imagine being out there on the field. That is one sport that I coached 1 year and I enjoyed it, but that was early on. And but yeah, it's fun to watch. But boy, if you're not sitting your butt down in a good, comfortable chair, it feels like forever sometimes. So.
Yeah. Well, Coach, thanks for that State of the Union address there.
I'm sorry.
Outstanding.
You guys asked.
Yeah, we got it. We got one question
right?
before we take a break. Okay. You got any football players running track?
Yes. There are. So LeBron Ransom's running. Robert's running. There's Jay Whitelow was, but now since he broke his wrist or sprained his broke his wrist in a 7-on-7 tournament. So there's been several that are out there running, but he's really picked up on the girls' side as far as sprinters go. He picked up a couple basketball players. He's got, a couple soccer. So it's been good to watch them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're sharing athletes all over the place, and those that aren't, our skill guys that aren't involved in track right now are doing a ton of 7-on-7 tournaments. So there's been a lot of work there.
All right. Well, let's move on to some college sports. Before we do, I got a question for you. You remember me talking last week about the refrigerator my wife told me I had to replace? Yep. I need some help moving it today. Could you help me?
Man, my back's hurting today.
All right. What about
I need to get somebody else.
I'm down. I'm down.
All right.
Coach Dryden likes to move stuff.
No, he doesn't. We've already had this conversation. So that means I'm going to have to go to Kincaid.
You got to go to Kincaid to get it done.
All
Absolutely.
Right. Why?
Because they'll haul it off.
They'll haul it off.
And they'll service what they sell.
Yeah, absolutely. They will. So I guess that settles it.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go visit Kincaid.
That's right.
And we appreciate them. They've been a sponsor for a long time, as well as First Bank. Let's hear a word from them, and we'll be right back to talk some college basketball.
Kincaid Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street.
All right, let's talk some college basketball. Big game last night, Bill.
It was a big game.
What did you say about it? What did Coach Barnes do?
He totally outcoached. He put on a coaching clinic against Mr. Pope at Kentucky.
Yeah.
Tennessee was so prepared for your offense. They knew every set, wherever pass was going, there was somebody there. That's how you score 85 a game and score 65. Great defense. And
it's hard to beat the same team 3 times. Tennessee was more motivated last night. You could tell they wanted it more.
And this is probably the greatest 3 years of Tennessee basketball ever. 3 straight Sweet 16s, 2 straight Elite 8s. Only the 3rd time in program history that we've made it to the Elite 8. The 3rd time we've won 30 games last night. 2 of them under Coach Barnes.
All right, so how do they match up against Houston?
Houston's tough. I mean, they are not a 1 seed for nothing. Now, Houston didn't play well last night. Again, Tennessee's biggest problem is depth. If we get in foul trouble, we've only got 9 guys on the roster that can play. Really only play 8. Houston goes 12, 13 deep like a lot of teams do. That's the only disadvantage I see Tennessee's got.
It was good to see Dubar play well last night. He finally kind of came through and contributed.
But
of the 4 games, it's the closest spread.
Exactly.
Houston Tennessee game
3.5.
3.5. The others are all 6.5, 5.5.
Hey, the game last night was 4.5. That was the Todd Bobo line, by the way.
But the Todd Bobo.
And right before tip-off, I get a text. It went to 5. How does Vegas know? Because if you'd asked me, I'd have taken Kentucky in the points if I was a betting man.
Do you really want to open that conversation?
How does Vegas?
Do you really want?
It's pretty shocking how Vegas just knows.
Well, since Todd Bobo just went out there, we need to have him on the show.
We need
Let
to have
him
him
tell
on
us
here and
how
have him
they know
explain-
this
Explain
stuff.
it to us. He would enjoy
He
that.
gave a clinic
Yeah,
out there
I'm
on
sure
how
he
to
would.
make these
Absolutely,
lines.
and he would enjoy coming on
Yeah,
here
he
talking
would,
about
yeah.
that. I
I'm sure he'd
guarantee
love
it.
to get involved in that.
So let's talk about the matchups going forward. Well, do you have to go over the scores
Let's
last
do the
night?
scores real quick. Get the lead 8. Duke 100, Arizona 93. Texas Tech beat Arkansas 85-83 in overtime. Nobody blows a lead like John Calipari. Up 16 with 3 minutes to go. Up like 8 with a minute and a half. And blew it. It reminded me of the Memphis game a few years ago.
Yeah.
They lost the national championship. Florida 87, Maryland 71. Florida looks good.
Yeah, they do.
Alabama 113, BYU 88.
It looks like that BYU plays defense on basketball like they
Well,
play defense on football.
I text Coach Young during the game, and I said, what makes BYU think they can run with Alabama? That was crazy that they thought they could go up and down the floor with them.
No.
But, of course, Alabama shot historic.
Yeah, did you see the shooting percentage from the three?
Unreal.
I mean, so if they just hit their game average, BYU has a chance.
Yes.
That's true.
But, I mean, the 21 for 22, 22
was
for
sick.
25. It was whatever.
113 points.
Yeah. But 66 of those were on three-pointers. I mean, that's crazy. So
It is, but a great shooting night for Alabama. But neither team played a whole lot of defense either.
Man, and Ole Miss game, I was pulling for them so much. I want to see another SEC team, and they almost pulled it off.
73-70, Michigan State came back. Michigan, Auburn, 78-65. Auburn with a win. And Houston snuck by Purdue, 62-60. Houston did not play well last night. Did not.
No, but they pulled it. They just got
But-
that last second shot.
It always makes you worried that they're going to play
Yeah,
better the next
yeah.
game, which would be tomorrow at 1:20 against Tennessee.
I see Jason is studying over some numbers over here. What do you see coming up in the matchup, Jason? What do you see an upset brewing anywhere here?
I think Tennessee will beat Houston, and I kind of think Michigan State will beat Auburn too.
Wow.
It's just hard to beat
Okay.
Izzo
Yeah.
at this time of
Yeah.
year. He's just really good.
Who's a sleeper out of this bunch? Is it Florida?
Oh, I think
Yeah,
Florida.
they're
I
a
mean, there's
sleeper.
really not a sleeper,
Yeah.
but I mean, if you the least likely to.
And why
expect
isn't
to
there
go.
a sleeper? Why are there no more Cinderellas? That's all I keep hearing.
It's a
You
good-
know why?
I know why.
Tell us why, Jason.
Because they pilfer them from the mid majors. All the good mid major players are now going to the big schools.
It's not just NIL. It's the gift of COVID, the transfer rule. So now if you're a good player in a mid-major that could make a run, immediately, no NIL, you hit the portal. You're Chaz Lanier, look at Tennessee. Look at Sears at Alabama, Grant Nelson, North Dakota State. Kentucky had 8 or 9 of them. Arkansas had 5 or 6 of them. Does anybody know where Broom, the great player at Auburn, came from?
Where?
Morehead State.
Yeah, I was going to
Really?
say Morehead State, out of Florida to Morehead
Wow.
State.
Morehead State. Walter Clayton at Florida, the really good Walter Clayton Jr. You know where he came from? Iona.
Really?
And
Elijah
he's really
Martin,
good,
our other
too.
good guard,
Yeah.
FAU.
How did these bigger schools miss him the first time around?
I know.
That's a question.
So now the little school is a feeder program for you. Did y'all hear Rick Pitino say he's never going to recruit another high
Yes.
school player?
Yep.
He said it.
And it's whether it's basketball or football, it's the same across the board. All of a sudden, you're for high school athletes these mid-level scholarship offers, your D2s, your NAIAs, even preferred walk-ons at an FCS are gold right now. Whereas before it was kind of a letdown. You know, the roster changes, the roster number changes, and everything else. It's crazy what's happening, but. You know, it's part of the game. I was watching. We got back last night. I was watching that Auburn Michigan game, and I felt like out of the 10 kids on the court, at one point they started naming off where they were from, and I felt like 8 of the 10 came from from a D2
Yes.
or an FCS or something like, you know, from a football perspective, a D2 FCS type school or low major, mid major, but in basketball. But it was nuts listening to it. But that's the reality that we find ourselves in now.
Or if you do recruit a freshman, okay, I recruit Coach Dryden here to play center for me. I don't play Coach Dryden. You know what Coach Dryden's going to do?
He
He's going to transfer to David Thomas over here because now I'm not
Oh,
playing
I'm
the
going to play
freshman.
because I'm playing.
And you're going to play the 5-star guy I've got sitting. So it's a vicious cycle here. You don't play your 5-star.
The first guy
that somewhere else.
I think the first guy that jumped out on a limb and said, "I'm not recruiting much anymore," is Lane Kiffin in Mississippi. Man, he started hitting that portal.
Yep.
And look at what he's done. So
it's going to near guarantee him 9 to 10 wins a season. I mean, in the one of the toughest conferences in the country. So I mean, that's the reality of it. I mean, you've got to be football, and you've got to be an absolute phenom. It's not just a 5-star now. It's you got to be top 100 5-star to land one of those top scholarship.
Yeah, the player almost has to prove themselves now before they get the chance.
100%.
Yeah.
But in basketball, it's really affected even more than football because it's less kids.
Yeah.
So that's where you're really seeing the difference there. I mean, look at Tennessee. They had one. Boswell Bishop is the one recruit from last year, the freshman class, one. Everyone else
what's
transfer.
The average roster for a college basketball team? 12?
15 is a scholarship
15?
limit.
Oh, 15? All right. What about football?
Football just compressed to 105.
Wow.
That's total.
Huge difference.
Total numbers, right? 85 scholarships.
85 scholarships plus walk-ons.
Okay.
And every walk-on's preferred now, if I understand correctly. So, yeah, the FBS roster is 105. It's compressed. Whereas before they'd run 125-ish and would have multiple walk-on styles and things like that. So it's
this is what makes it tough on Tennessee this year. Is you had 15 scholarships. You only had 11.
Yep.
You had 4 over here that nobody had. So you were down 4. And then you lose Estrella to injury, and then the Carr kid quits, which left you at 9.
Okay, big
It's
story.
amazing they've done what they've done.
Big story's been talked about this week. It's Coach Barnes. Looks like he's going to hang around.
Yeah, the story was he was going to retire. I think he all but put that to bed. When he said he's going to live in God's hands, I think what he's saying is as long as he's healthy, he's going to coach the University of Tennessee.
And from what I understand, there's a good point guard headed our way.
Yeah, I like the point guard, Henderson kid. And again, some of my buddies are going, he committed to Fordham. Well, Murray State recruited this guy. Pittsburgh and Xavier were all over him after Fordham fired their coach. And I watched this kid. I watched a lot of film on him. He reminds me of a bigger Ziegler.
I was going to say, no one wanted Ziegler either.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Ziegler had no one recruiting him.
Yeah.
But when you're 6'1" in basketball, I don't care if you're playing point guard, most of these teams want you 6'4", 6'5". It's about a measurable deal. Yeah. Well, Ziegler's the shortest guy on the floor, and who's the best player on the floor most games?
Yeah.
Well, Ziegler he manages the team so well. It's like having a coach on the floor.
Yes.
I mean, he and Barnes are just like this. And I think it's just like he's the ultimate point guard.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he can shoot.
Yeah.
He can dish the ball. He's like out there knowing what's going to happen. I mean,
he's
like
the one player that can drive off the dribble and cause havoc when he does.
The flip side of only having 9, those 9 have really played well together.
Have.
You learn each other. And so
look at the job Barnes has done even with Chaz Lanier, who comes in as this big shooter.
Yeah.
He's taught him how to play defense now. He's taught him how.
It's probably got him in the NBA now, probably.
He is an NBA player because of Rick Barnes.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's going to be hard. Rick Barnes can't coach in March. He's 8-3 in March the last 3 years.
We got to get over this hump Sunday, though.
It'd be nice to get over the hump, but even if they don't, it's the 3rd time in Tennessee history. Think about this. Ray Mears, that everybody lauds as the greatest coach in UT history. The greatest coach in Tennessee history is Rick Barnes, period. Not even close.
During that game last night, I sent y'all a text. This is a little sequence of play where we missed a shot, big guy slams it in, and then we get a tip and a steal, and the ball goes to Ziegler and he hits a 3. It's a 5-point swing.
That was kind of it.
If there was a chance that Kentucky was going to come back, that right there just put the nail in the coffin. It's like an exclamation point of "We got you."
Is there a better defensive player in America than Meshack? Seriously.
Well, they're in
Ziegler.
they're in the 2. They're in the 2 top running for out of 5.
Yeah.
They're in the 2. What's Ward Naismith?
That's the one thing Barnes does. You don't play defense. Guess where you're going? You're going to sit over here behind me. You're going to play defense, or he ain't going to play it.
If you remember early in the year, Lanier wasn't playing a lot because he wasn't playing good enough defense.
And that's what Barnes hangs his hat on.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's been fun to watch, and I can't wait to see what happens this upcoming week.
1:20 tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's take another break, and of course, we're going to hear from
Kincaid
Service
Company
and First Bank, and we'll be right back to talk some pro football. And Bill just can't wait to analyze the Titans this morning.
I'm so happy.
Hey, you're saying.
Don't be trying to look at
And
my
then, hey, we got a little special thing that we're going to do. It's going to be kind of fun too.
Trying to make sure Bill don't look at my list.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, better watch me. I was good looking in school.
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Kincaid Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street.
All righty, Bill, I know you want to talk some NFL. I know Jason's chomping at bits, and the infamous Judge Dryden. He don't have his notes. He's just got everything memorized. But we're going to do something kind of special. But guys, draft-wise, there's a lot of things happening this week. And I know you're excited about them, Bill, for the Titans.
Oh, yeah. I fully expect us to do a terrible job.
Is it clear now that we're taking Cam Ward?
It's Cam Ward, but I'm just going to run this list down. Quarterbacks the Titans have drafted since 1999. Anybody know who Kevin Daft is? Remember that guy?
Don't remember him.
Vince Young.
I've heard of him, yeah.
First-round pick, third pick. Rusty Smith, sixth-round pick. Jake Locker, first-round pick.
Locker.
8th round. Zach Mettenberger. Marcus Mariota, first-round pick number 2. Luke Falk. Cole McDonald, never took an NFL snap. Malik Willis. And Jason's guy, Will Levis.
Oh, yeah.
There's your list right there. Cam Ward's the pick. I hate it for Cam Ward because I think Cam Ward would be a really good NFL quarterback. But I think once we take him, it's not good, guys. You got no weapons. It's just not good. It's not good for Cam Ward. I hope for his sake that we don't take him. Now, let me bring this guy up. Anybody at this table, the Titans signed you a quarterback. All right, you ready for this one? The quarterback's name is Tim Boyle. Coach Dryden, you know who Tim Boyle is?
I do not.
Jason? Dave Thomas.
I do because I read about him this morning before the show, and I do know he loves football.
He loves football. Football guy. Undrafted free agent 2018 by the Green Bay Packers at Kenny's Ball Club.
Yeah.
7 teams in 6 years. That's the thing with these free agents. We played on a bunch of different teams. Now, that tells me a lot right there, doesn't it? You?
They rent houses, don't buy them.
Yeah, buddy. Well, his career in college. You ready for this? How many touchdown passes do you think Mr. Bull had in college?
We know, so we're not going to answer. But
1.
He's just got one more than us, Bill.
1. He played at Connecticut, couldn't play, transferred to Eastern Kentucky. In the pros, he has 5 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and 0-5 as a starter. That's outstanding.
Where did he start? Do you know?
The Giants last year.
Giants.
Remember how good the Giants quarterback play was a year ago?
Absolutely, yes.
He played a game there. He played for Detroit. He's played for the Dolphins. He's played for the Jets. He's played for 7 teams.
So you're not high on this quarterback?
Never heard. Even Blaine Bishop on the radio goes, "Who's this guy?" Blaine Bishop didn't know who he was.
Okay.
Well, what's the point? Well, it's a camp arm. You don't sign camp arms.
Well, they just did.
Invite him to camp.
They just did.
And we've got another guy, Brandon Allen, just like him.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 coaches for Cam Ward.
Titans' current quarterback room: Will Levis, Brandon Allen, Tim Boyle. Combined record of 7 wins, 29 losses.
And Will Levis has 5 of those victories.
Will Levis is the best quarterback on the roster.
Best quarterback on the roster is Mailman.
Yep. Okay.
And now, let's just look at another guy. Anybody know who James Prochet is? Anybody?
No.
Well, he's a special teamer. I do know that.
6th-round pick from the Ravens in 2000. Played 5 years. Been on 3 or 4 different teams. That's the thing. You know, we like guys that move around a lot. Has 28 catches, 299 yards, and 0 touchdowns in the National Football League. In 2021, he had 16 of those catches and 202 yards. In 2 years with the Browns, 3 catches, 21 yards. Now, that's the kind of weapon I want in my receiver.
Bill, you better calm down because if you keep on, your friends up there is going to quit talking to you.
Probably. Go to SB Nation and read the 4 NFL teams that got worse in free agency. The Titans are number 1, and the article's really good. And it says, when you're the worst team in the league, how do you get worse? This is how.
Okay.
I bleed two-tone blue. I've had tickets up there for 18 years, went to every game from 99 to like 2016. And I finally had enough.
Okay. Well,
this is terrible.
So my question, Bill, is how high are you on the Titans for the next year?
I've mentioned before the show, and all you guys, when you watch the Titans, seriously, are we not the slowest team every Sunday? Also, special teams, defense, and offense.
Coach.
We are.
Have you noticed
I would have to agree.
We're the slowest team out there. Doesn't matter who we're playing, we're the slowest team. So I would want to get faster, if nothing else. And I'm telling you, you don't get faster and get better with James Prochet and Tim Boyle, and there's your free agent signings. And that's not, there's been several of them. When I have to sit here, and I follow it pretty good, and go to Google to figure out who you are, that probably is not a good free agent signing.
If they're not in Bill's trapper keeper, then
They're not my trapper keeper. But maybe we're wrong, okay? But if you look at what we've seen so far, do you really trust them to draft?
Well, there's still talk that we might go back down, trade with, of course, Cleveland wants it, right? Yeah. They want to swap, and us go down the third. Will we get another pick somewhere? And if we did that, would it be Shedeur Sanders for us?
You better take Cam Ward.
Huh?
You better go and take Cam Ward and be done with it. Cam Ward is the better prospect.
Is there somebody else down the line that we could trade with so we could shoot on down?
Well, the Giants messed this up when they signed Jameis Winston, that's better than Tim Boyle. Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
A lot better. Russell Wilson.
I'd still rather get another first and a second next year and take Jackson Dart.
Me and you both. You don't like Dart.
I do not.
Not a fun.
No, because I just don't think he's an NFL quarterback.
I like accumulating those picks, though.
I would like to
get a 2 this year and a 1 next year.
If you could find a trade partner. I just don't see the trade partner here.
But there's the quarterback pool now is limited. It's just Aaron Rodgers sitting up there.
Well, look at the pool of we've got, guys. When Will Levis is the best quarterback on your roster by far, you got problems, guys. I mean, serious problems.
You don't think he can turn it around, huh?
Will Levis? Absolutely. But, hey, you got Tim Boyle if things don't work out. This is my problem with Cam Ward. You get him in here, you're trying to teach the kid. Maybe he's not ready to start the first month of the season.
Yeah.
Don't throw Tim Boyle out there. What if Cam Ward got hurt? You going to throw Tim Boyle or Brandon Allen out there?
I'm anxious to see the Titans schedule, which comes up here in about a month. See when their bye week is, because that's probably when Cam will start.
Well, is it possible they could pick up somebody on waivers before the season starts to be your backup?
We've already done that.
I'm talking about closer to right at the season.
I would do the over and under Todd Bobo line on the Titans have the number 1 pick next year, too.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to. I think we probably will.
Breaks my heart, too, because I love the Titans.
But is this the overall plan?
What is the
5-year rebuild? I don't know. I don't know what the plan is.
I'm glad you love football. That's cool. I'm glad you're a good character guy. You need speed and athleticism, and that's what the Titans are lacking. And I can't see they've added to it in free agency either. I don't see it. Maybe your offensive line's better, but other than that, your defense is worse.
I think the offensive line
Probably the 2 best things you had going for you was the punter and the place kicker, and you got rid of both of them. Your punter kicks it too far. And Nick Westbrook.
Yeah.
But you got Van Jefferson, and now you've got James Prochet.
Okay.
Let's let Nick's work.
He's got me fired up for football now. I can't
let him head on down to the Dolphins. We don't need that guy.
Yeah.
We got Nick Prochet and Van Jefferson.
Okay.
Yeah, put their career stats down. Clear that up.
Are you going to be all right, Bill?
No. Very disappointing. Very, very, very disappointing. Hope I'm wrong, but I don't see it. Cam Ward's going to be the number 1 pick. That's coming. Just get ready.
All right. So what do we got after that down the draft? What
you got pick 35, then maybe you can trade down there. That's where I think you might see the Titans trade down is at 35 to accumulate picks. Because that's going to be a valuable pick, first pick of the second round. There's always 5 to 10 guys that should have gone in the first round that don't. There's going to be good players there. Good chance to trade down.
You get a lot of calls that night. Yeah.
So that's a good place to trade down possibly.
So where does Abdul Carter end up?
Is that a red flag to you guys that he won't work out his pro day after telling everybody he would? Maybe not that. But when he made the comment, I'm only going to work out or talk to the first 4 teams with the first 4 picks. Oof.
Doesn't sound good.
Well, he was on NBC saying, I am the best draft. I am the number 1 player in America. He said that. This is a while back in January.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man.
If I was his agent, I would have told him don't run the 40, but I'd have told you to work out. The reason not to run the 40 is what if you run a 4.8? It costs you millions of dollars, or a 4.6 because something went wrong with your legs. I wouldn't have run for him. But you do the workout, especially when at the combine you promised you would. Now you don't. It looks like you're hiding something.
Yeah. And
I think he's going to drop here.
I think it's a possibility.
And I think Shedeur Sanders may drop too. Y'all's guy may actually come up in the top 10 and might even go before him, honestly. I think Shedeur is dropping.
What do you think, Coach? Have you been watching all this?
I haven't. I watched the combine. That's kind of where I get my fix on it. But no, it's the NFL. The NFL game is. I'm a straight fan when it comes to that. Just casual fan, I guess you could say, when it comes to the NFL. But anytime a young man is, it show whether he is or not. If you looks like you're hiding something. The perception is reality when it comes to money at that level. And so I don't know.
And it's a great draft for edge rusher. I mean, Carter may be the best one. I'm not saying he isn't, but there's probably 5 or 6 other ones that are pretty doggone good in this draft, too. It's a great edge group.
I think Tennessee's got to get this receiver from Missouri. What's his name?
They need to get a
Burden.
Yeah.
Cam Ward, if we're really going to let this kid develop, and that's your guy. Give him some weapons and put him in a position to be successful. Van Jefferson and Mr. Prochet aren't going to help Cam Ward be better.
Yeah.
And Calvin Ridley can't be just Calvin Ridley. The NFL will take one player away from you. You got to have other people.
I think one of the most offensive impacts that will be made by a player is still number 44. He just keeps born. He just keeps jumping out.
He's a great looking tight end.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them in this class, too.
Yeah, that's a big tight end group.
Big tight end. Yeah. The kid from Michigan can play.
Yeah.
The kid from Colorado can play, or Colorado State, wherever it was, he can play. The Oregon tight end's really good. Mm-hmm. It's a good group.
All right, let's shift gears. We could spin our wheels all day on this.
I'm glad we
but
get
this right here,
my blood pressure.
This is going to be kind of fun.
We got to calm Bill down a little bit.
Yeah. All right, now we're going to pick the top 5 NFL quarterbacks in modern era, the Super Bowl era. Coach. What did I say? Quarterbacks. We're going to do that later. Quarterbacks later. But head coaches, top 5. I want us to go around, Jason. You tell us who your 5 are.
Okay, well, being the school teacher, I kind of came up with a rubric and some criteria. Right. You had to have 150 NFL wins. Mm-hmm. You had to have at least a 600% winning percentage. You had to have at least 12 playoff wins. And you had to win multiple Super Bowls. Okay. There's only 5 people that hit all those.
Okay.
Bill Belichick.
Okay.
Andy Reid. Joe Gibbs.
Yeah.
Don Shula. Tom Landry. And there was one person who only missed it by 1. This one's going to shock you. John Harbaugh had everything except he only has 1 Super Bowl instead of 2.
Yeah.
And he's got a team in the next few years. He could get that. I mean, he could be on this list with us.
Okay, so your top 5. Say those again.
Bill Belichick, which I think everyone will probably have.
Yeah.
Andy Reid, Joe Gibbs, Don Shula, and Tom Landry.
All right. Those are good ones. I got some of those written down too. Coach, your top 5.
Those covered 4 of my 5.
Okay. All right.
I had Bill Walsh instead of Don Shula.
He didn't get to coach as long as some of these guys,
and that's he got cut short.
Yeah, but he changed the game.
Yeah,
he really did.
And if you count what he did with the organization, as far as having his next guy was right there being groomed, and hands it over to Seifert, and you just continue right on. So
it's a good system.
To me, they put a. It wasn't just a good coach and with good teams. They put a program together, and they ran the program, and it showed for 12, 15 years just how good they were. Mm-hmm. So.
All right, so name yours off now.
So Belichick, Reid,
Joe Gibbs.
Bill Walsh, Joe Gibbs, and Mm-hmm. I just lost it again.
Tom Landry.
I'm sorry. Yep.
Okay. All right. Bill, yours.
Bill Belichick, number 1.
Okay.
I got to still put Don Shula there. And one of my criteria was it really stepped it up. Did you take 2 different teams to a Super Bowl? And Shula did that. Now, they did lose to Joe Namath, but he took 2 franchises. The same reason I love Andy Reid. He's taken 2 franchises. The same reason I'm going to put Bill Parcells on this list. He changed the game. His coaching tree of Bill Parcells from Belichick on. Look at the coaches
He's
today.
Produced so many.
That's why I've got to have Bill Parcells there.
Yeah.
Because I think he's changed the game, the way we coach the game. So I would have Parcells there. And then I just don't see how you can't have Chuck Noll there with 4 Super Bowls. Although he probably didn't have enough wins, I could see him or Bill Walsh either one. It'd be a tie for me.
We had 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah, but he won 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah, he won 4. Okay.
That's
who just missed the cut on your list?
Bill Walsh and Tom Landry.
Okay.
And I didn't have Joe Gibbs that high as y'all did. But, I mean, I love Joe Gibbs, too. This is hard to do. But Bill Parcells, again, if you took 2 franchises to a Super Bowl, that's big to me. And there ain't but very few people have done that.
All right. That's true. I've got Don Shula, number 1. Chuck Noll, number 2. Belichick, 3. Andy Reid, 4. Tom Landry, 5th. And I had, of course, I put Vince Lombardi down. But he's right on the borderline of being in the modern era. And then you go into the conversation of George Halas and Paul Brown, but that's before, okay? But I had Bill Parcells down with a star of him changing the game. I also had Bill Walsh.
You got Bill Belichick 3, David.
Huh?
He's got 7 Super Bowls.
Well, that's just where I like him. Number 3.
That's like where I like him. I like Belichick.
Well, here's why. Because growing up, I'm a little bit ahead of y'all, okay? I watched the Dolphins in the early 70s. Don Shula was my man. Chuck Noll with the Steelers, same time frame. And then, of course, Tom Landry. Some people would leave Tom Landry off this list. But those three right there were in when I was a kid, just watching football just every Sunday and couldn't wait to see it. Watched every highlight video I could see. Those were the names that were in my face, and those were the guys that were the top dogs.
I still miss the coaches dressing up like Tom Landry, too.
Yes, he had the hat on.
Yeah.
He was a man.
Yeah, he was.
He was the man. He was America's coach in the 70s and 80s. All right, now I'm going to throw who's your favorite coach? Not the best, but just who is your favorite coach? And this is just off the cuff.
I've been watching football a long time. A lot of characters, a lot of people. But I'm going to tell you, Dan Campbell is my favorite football coach.
Okay.
With hands down. He just exemplifies everything that a head coach should be.
Yeah. We're talking about current coach?
No, just any coach, ever, just your favorite coach of all time.
Probably Andy Reid. I like Andy Reid.
Yeah. He's kind of funny on all these commercials too. He's got a little. You don't think he would be that way, and then that side of him you see, and you go, "That's pretty cool."
Yeah, I like Andy Reid.
All right, what about you, Bill?
Bill Parcells for the way he treats the media and taught Bill Belichick to treat the media.
Yeah.
And he will make a reporter. You ask him a dumb question, he made you look stupid, as did Belichick. But Parcells was a master of it.
Yeah.
And then Parcells, when he's over with and he made you look dumb, he made you like him before it was over with. That was what's great. He insults you, but then he could compliment you all the same sentence.
Yeah.
Belichick was, Parcells. And then Belichick got a lot of the way he is from Bill Parcells.
Yeah. I still put Belichick one for sure, but a little bit of his stock dropped whenever Brady left. Brady goes on and wins a Super Bowl or two, and Belichick doesn't do as well. Kind of looking more like it was more Brady than it might have been Belichick.
A lot of them first Super Bowls weren't Tom Brady. That was that great Patriot defense. If you go back and really think about it, they won a bunch of Super Bowls with defense.
All right. My favorite is John Madden.
Not
because of his I watched him back in the 70s with the Raiders, but then when he hit the broadcast booth, he was an ambassador for National Football League and he brought a lot of fans with him. He created a lot of friends. And then characters of the game, Bum Phillips. I loved him. I got it. Wade's dad.
Yeah.
You know, that's y'all are too young. Y'all remember him, don't you?
I do. I remember all of
And then Jerry Glanville.
Wore the all black.
A character. He's a character. Those
two tickets for Elvis.
Yes, exactly. But it's just kind of fun to talk about this stuff. And I think
what's next week?
Next week we're going to pick quarterbacks.
Okay.
Top 5 quarterbacks of the Super Bowl
have
era.
Will Levis in there.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
he'll be cutting it for number 5.
Yeah.
I figured you'd have Jeff Fisher down as one of your top coaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, the rumor was Tennessee State was hiring him, Jeff.
I saw that on an article.
They interviewed his son. It wasn't Jeff Fisher.
Was? Yeah.
But actually, TSU guys, Greg Williams is the new DC at TSU. Did y'all know that?
No. Really?
They hired the head coach of the Washington, not the Command Skins. What's the team? Destroyers or whatever?
Command Skins.
Not the Command Skins. It's the Destroyers of the UFL. Their head coach, I can't think of his name. He has got the TSU job. So he left a semi-pro gig to take TSU, and he brought Greg Williams with him. Greg Williams, that's a heck of a defensive coordinator right there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, it's been fun talking about all this stuff. We're going to come back next week, and we're going to sit down and talk about quarterbacks, and we're going to see where we are with the NCAA tournament, man. There's a lot's going to happen.
Hopefully we're in the Final Four.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to see Coach, infamous Judge Dryden. Thank you for sitting down with us and giving us some updates today. And we're going to be back next week and have a lot of fun. And again, we thank our sponsors, First Bank and
Kincaid
Service Company.